Ever stop and think about whether the US dollar will always be on top? Because today we're digging into something huge. A massive shift in global finance that ties together a powerful group of nations, a brand new digital currency, and yeah, even the crypto that could be sitting in your wallet as we speak.
Okay, let's just kick things off with a number that really frames this whole conversation. $28 trillion. I mean, just let that sink in. That's the projected combined GDP for the newly expanded BRICS nations by 2025. And believe me, this isn't just some random statistic. It's a massive statement of economic muscle.
So that really brings us to the big question, right? The one we're going to unpack here. Is a number that big? Is that enough to actually challenge the global financial system as we know it? We're talking about the IMF, the World Bank, the whole thing. The answer, well, it could have some pretty seismic implications, so you're going to want to stick around.
All right, so to really get what's going on, we've got to look at who's involved. We're witnessing the rise of what could be a major rival bloc on the world stage.
And if you want to see the sheer scale of this challenge, just look at the numbers. On one side, you have the expanded BRICS bloc. We're talking 11 nations, a combined population of 3.4 billion people. Now, their projected $28 trillion GDP, okay, it's still a lot smaller than the $91 trillion from the IMF and World Bank system, but their collective weight is getting heavy enough to really start shaking things up and questioning the status quo.
And here's the kicker. This isn't just some friendly trade club. No, this alliance has a very clear mission. Their stated goals are to directly push back against Western financial dominance, find a way around the US dollar, and literally build a whole new financial infrastructure from scratch.
Now, this isn't just talk or some far-off theory. A recent event shows this strategy is already playing out, and it's really kicking things into high gear.
Okay, circle this date on your calendar, September 29th, 2025. Why? Because that's when China is planning to launch a major digital yuan operations center in Shanghai. This is a huge, concrete step towards boosting their own currency's role on the world stage and, you guessed it, dialing back their reliance on the dollar.
So what does this new hub actually do? Well, you can think of it as having three main jobs. First, making cross-border payments with the digital yuan a reality. Second, building out blockchain service networks. And third, managing digital assets. Basically, it's the whole shebang, everything you need for a new financial system.
And this move really shows you the strategic thinking behind it all. I love this quote from Professor Tian Swan at Tsinghua University. He said it's all about offering a Chinese solution for payments. In other words, a direct competitor to the systems that have run global finance for decades.
So when you put it all together, the BRICS mission, this new hub in Shanghai, it all points to one massive strategy, the push for de-dollarization.
And if you're not totally sure what that means, de-dollarization is basically just the process of the world becoming less dependent on the US dollar. For the BRICS nations, it means they're looking for ways to trade with each other using their own currencies, or maybe even new digital ones, and just completely bypassing the old-school financial highways.
You know, this isn't something that just popped up overnight. It's a long-term plan that's really picking up speed. Think about it. The group formed back in 2009. Then, boom, in early 2024, it expands to 11 nations. And now, we're looking ahead to that digital yuan hub launching in September 2025. And a major BRICS summit in Brazil just a few months later. You can just feel the momentum building, right?
Okay, so how does all this high-level geopolitical chess affect you and the world of digital assets? Well, this is where things get really interesting, because crypto is now sitting at a massive crossroads.
And to understand just how high the stakes are, here's another big number for you. The total crypto market cap is sitting at nearly $4 trillion. All of that value, every single bit of it, is now in play as these huge global shifts happen. For the crypto market, this whole BRICS movement is like a double-edged sword. There are two totally different ways this could go. You've got the bull case. What if the BRICS nations actually embrace crypto for trade? We could see mass adoption, a huge price rally. Then there's the bear case. What if their regulations all conflict with each other? That could unleash absolute chaos and insane volatility. A blockchain analyst, Michael Reynolds, he really nailed it. He said if BRICS comes up with a unified digital currency, we could see a 30 to 50% rally in the major coins. But, and this is a big but, he also warns that the risk of what he calls regulatory fragmentation, where every country just makes up its own messy rules, is just as real.
And you can see this risk perfectly in what I call China's crypto paradox. Think about it. They banned private, decentralized crypto back in 2021. But now, they're going all in on pushing their own centralized state-controlled digital currency. That's a huge conflict right there, a permissionless system versus a government-run one. And for investors, that just throws a massive layer of uncertainty onto everything.
So when you take a step back, where does all this leave us? Well, analysts are looking at this and seeing three potential futures playing out for the global economy and for your portfolio.
Okay, so here's the bottom line. It really boils down to three main paths. The most likely one, analysts are giving it about a 60% chance, is that BRICS actually succeeds and becomes a real rival bloc. If that happens, it could drive a ton of crypto adoption as a new financial pathway. Then you have the less likely scenarios, one where their impact is kind of limited, and another where it's just pure regulatory chaos. And let me tell you, that last one would be absolutely brutal for altcoins.
So what does this actually mean for you, the investor? Well, a few things. First, diversification is still king. Spreading across the big ones like Bitcoin and Ethereum, or even tokens built for cross-border payments like XRP. Second, you absolutely have to start watching policy news coming out of these BRICS summits. It's now required reading. And finally, expect more volatility. You might want to think about how stablecoins, those assets pegged to the dollar, could help you hedge some of that risk.
And that really brings us to the final big picture question. You've got a $28 trillion bloc making its move. You've got a digital yuan gunning for the dollar spot. And you've got a $4 trillion crypto market caught right in the crossfire. So you have to ask yourself, are we literally watching the future of money get rewritten right before our very eyes?